the Los Angeles locals, the ABC, the Fox News, that there is a criminal investigation open against Sean Diddy Combs after I did your program.
Yeah.
And then it's like a month later, I'm doing CNN, right? And then did the interview with CNN. And I mean, so your channel definitely, without question, helped spark a criminal investigation.
Wow.
And the criminal investigation and I can't really talk about the criminal and civil lawsuits and investigation, but both of them are advancing for sure. So, I'm very excited about that. That it feels like justice is like right around the corner.
So yeah, you don't think he's coming out, nothing like that?
No. Mm-mm. Mm-mm. Like they had to, like a lot of people are disappointed about what he was sentenced with, that he, only got 4 years. But, as one of my business partners point out, like they got Al Capone through tax evasion, right? Like they didn't get him with all the murders. And I'm not talking about Diddy, I'm talking about Capone.
Oh,
They
right,
didn't
right.
get him with all this stuff. They got him through tax evasion. And I just think they wanted to get something to stick, and then I think more and more and more is going to come out. I don't think I'm the only criminal investigation involving Sean Combs. I just think mine was, highly publicized.
What do you want to get from all this, that when you came out and you told everybody what happened? What do you want to happen?
What I want to happen, justice. I want criminal justice. I want to see them. I want to see them locked up, and that's like my biggest goal of everything is, because it's been such a hard time since 2001. When the situation happened, it's just been nonstop trauma. And like when I look at my life before the Notorious B.I.G. project with the Notorious B.I.G. estate, I'm like a nerd collecting comic books, sports cards, living in Louisville, Kentucky. And as soon as I get involved with the Biggie project, it my everything in my life completely changes 1,000%. So, you know, I want to get my life back to what it was before I got involved with them, the defendants.
Right. Um, when you came on the platform and you told exactly what happened, was that like a weight off your shoulder when you were able to tell everybody what really happened to you?
Absolutely. I was just able to bleed out, because I've had to be quiet. And I don't know why I really chose to do it at that time. I knew that we had went to the Largo police, in Florida, and the Largo police did a police report on behalf that the Los Angeles police requested. And so we just weren't hearing anything. And I was just so frustrated because, as a victim.
It was good, y'all. This OB Media. Jonathan A goes crazy and he goes up Diddy. He said that Diddy is a monster and he need to stay behind bars. Diddy should never be free because he was a real monster. So Diddy did a lot of people wrong, man. And Jonathan Hay filed a lawsuit, said that Diddy sexually assaulted him. But a lot of people are saying that Jonathan Hay is a known bisexual. So I don't know if Diddy forced him to do all of those gay stuff. But Diddy be blackmailing a lot of rappers, man. So I don't know how true it is. But Diddy is just a freaky dude that like booty. He always try to take advantage of people. And that is just wrong. You can't use your power so that you can treat people bad. That is just crazy work, man. But it is what it is, man. Need to watch a full video. Let's get it.
Of something, the crime that you're in takes, the crime itself is minutes. But the process for any kind of justice takes years, sometimes decades, right? So I was just so frustrated and I was so hurt and I was so broken that I just, went on your channel and bled out. I haven't been able to watch it. I've watched part of it, and it's been,
Mhm.
the interview's been, referenced. It was on TMZ, and it was, the defenses has used part of the interview, right, as like some of the stuff that I'm saying. But the thing about me is that interview is basically like my testimony to what happened, and the interview, what, any kind of negativity that you guys, you mentioned, you received some backlash for it or whatever.
Mhm.
It's helped move the chains of justice. So, and that was the goal on it. That was the intention for it, is the more eyes you can get on it, the more it's able to get justice.
Right.
Which is what
Did,
which is what Nicki is doing essentially with Jay-Z and Rock Nation.
right. Right. Did you receive any backlash from it? Like, I know, like, did you get anybody try to call and try to get on you about it for saying, your truth?
Bro, like this thing hasn't stopped, and that's one of the things that I wanted to address with you, is like being a victim, and I'm sure other victims, I don't know what they're dealing with, but I'm sure it's the same. Is like, it's constant harassment, it's constant intimidation. Like, my wife, she she walks like she was walking every day where we were living in Largo, and she was constantly being photographed and followed and taking pictures. And look, it's legal. And my daughter, also in Florida, was being photographed sitting outside the house, harassed, stalked. But they're legally able to do that, right? The private investigators. So my daughter, she had to move because she didn't feel safe with having, a newborn baby. My Diana and I, my wife, we also moved to get away from to the chaos and people going through your trash and people, looking in your window, and people knocking on the door constantly, taking photos and everything else. So it's been absolutely nuts, man.
Right.
And this sounds like some like John Grisham movie stuff, but it's not. It's real. And then the weird stuff that I've dealt with just like over the last week is this person has made threats in text message and email to people unrelated, but one is more specific, that she is going to sink my case, and she's been paid a lot of money. So this is hearsay. This is what she's telling me, right? That's why I didn't, report it to the police yet. It's hearsay because I don't know if she's been offered, big money, but she said she's been offered big money to talk about me, to tell what she knows. And my thing is like, what do you even know about me? You don't know anything about me. You don't know anything about my case, right? You haven't been around my life like that. But she was using it as like an extortion method, and it is without question obstruction of justice. So no matter what, I'm definitely going to go to the police with that, because she's not the only one. This other guy has tried the same, type of stuff. So it's just not the defendants being power, it's their fans and their supporters and the crazy people, like the person that shot Rihanna. They're like obsessed. So these, Diddy and the Notorious B.I.G. and the Notorious B.I.G.'s family, they all have people who are obsessed. They hear voices, they hear different things. Those are the people you have to worry about. So I'm constantly dealing with that. Like, we stayed at an Airbnb last month. This person at the Airbnb, it was in Largo, they found out that, because it was all over television in Largo, Florida, and in Tampa. It was on all the news stations. It was on the radio stations and everything. So I was out there, right? Especially in Florida.
Mhm.
These people know who I am, and then they try to use it against me to charge this an enormous amount of money when we're leaving, and they blamed it on some kind of like damages of the place, and Airbnb confirmed that there were no damages, right? But they were using this as an extortion method because they feel like, of the Sean Combs thing, there's, we have all this money and all these resources, and it's just not the case. So it's the people on the outside world that are very dangerous that you have to worry about. Is the fans, the people who want to be famous, young people who, want to mess with you for clout, right? Because I'm associated with these different celebrities in my career, I became kind of a target for sure. And since I've been speaking out and doing all these stuff, that's been really weird, right?
Right. Right.
I mean, it's got to the point where, I think I'm going to talk to the Los Angeles police about, like some kind of, protection. And if there are criminal charges, then, we might want to look at doing something. I wouldn't want to say witness protection, but something that's just too dangerous, being in the outside world, just being around regular people, it becomes very weird. It's very dangerous. So I feel I'm very uneasy with everything that's going on because Diddy's in jail. I'm not worried about him, right? It's his supporters. It's those people that I'm worried about.
All right. Are you
Unless
scared of?
unless he's calling shots from jail.
That's what I was gonna say. Like, are you scared of Diddy from jail because he was a very powerful man. Like, he probably still has people that could be walking around here. Like, he fed a lot of people.
Whatever it is, I've dealt with it. I've dealt with this former artist. I've dealt with people connected to both the defendants. Yeah, it's constant. It's constant fear. Like I want this. I want this over with as soon as possible so I can try to rebuild my life back to what it was before I did this project. And another thing, a guy in Dallas, Texas, his name is Kane McKnight, right?
Uh-huh.
He died on March 1st, right? And he was one of the partners in the Notorious B.I.G. The project that I did with the Notorious B.I.G. and Bad Boy. He was
Uh-huh.
one of the people. There was only four of us, myself and my company, which was Rush Music, and C.J. Wallace, Biggie's son,
Uh-huh.
and Think Big under the Notorious B.I.G. estate, and this guy Kane McKnight. Kane McKnight is now dead in Dallas, Texas. And so that's weird. So all kinds of theories, are floating around, about his death because, you just don't know. And if you like Google this guy, Kane McKnight, he was an ecstasy dealer back in the day. The LA Times did a story on him in like 2000. So he was connected to the stars. He did know Diddy. He did know CJ Wallace, right? So when I was in Dallas in this mansion working on the Biggie project, he was always around. He was with us in Dallas. He was with us in Brooklyn and he was with us in LA. At the time of the attack, he was at the same hotel that I was in where I was picked up. This guy is now dead.
That's crazy. Um,
Kane McKnight.
right. Um, Biggie's son, C.J. Wallace. What do you think he's up to right now?
I'm not sure. Like I try to tune out and stay away from the noise as much as possible. But I don't know. He was it's just a very unfortunate, situation with all the stuff that's going on now.
Do you care that he's still walking around, or does that bother you?
Absolutely, for sure. But like I said, justice takes a while. They have criminal investigations. Our civil suit has advanced. People can look at at the docket and they can pay attention to it. Our civil case has advanced. All their motions to dismiss were denied. So my case civilly is living on. A judge in California believed in our evidence and what we've given that they denied, their demur and to get the case thrown out. They didn't allow it to be thrown out. So my case is still moving. So the civil case and the criminal case is still advancing, but it's tough, man. It's tough to go through all these, situations that I'm living in, the realities of private investigators, of their supporters, of their team, of people making threats of obstruction of justice, witness tampering. All the stuff that's going on right now is absolutely crazy. And it's not affecting me. It's affecting my woman. It's affecting my child. It's affecting friends. So, this isn't a game. Like it's tough.
So, like, what are you doing for your mental health and stuff right now to, to balance?
I have a great therapist.
Okay.
And I also deal with the RAIN network, RAINN, and I'm going to continue to work with them and my therapist, and just hoping that we get justice soon.
How should like victims move on from this? Like it's just, you talk about it like, it's an everyday struggle, and it's real hard. What's advice that you can give them?
I would like to know that same advice, because the real truth is, I put on my glasses, I color my hair, I fix my hair, I get on these things and I talk to you, and I could come across as strong, but this is now because I am doing this, speaking to others, trying to advocate for others, trying to advocate for my cases. But the reality is not this. The reality is most of the time of severe depression, laying down, can't get up, constantly worried about, running into people, dying, anything. So I would like to know what's best for victims to how they survive. It's not tough. So I think a lot of people see these interviews and they think keep it going. You're being so strong. It's like, well, you're just seeing this. You don't see my everyday life. I promise you would not think that I'm strong.
Hypothetical, Diddy walks. What's the next steps?
The civil case goes on, and we will get justice there, right? Like, I have one of the best attorneys, historic attorneys in the world fighting for the case. And, without saying so much, the fact of the matter is, we've got a lot of cosigns and we've got a lot of support, on the backside, on the legal end. It's just a difference of the burden of proof in civil versus criminal, right? So, but that's what I'm saying. My thing is criminal, and our evidence that we have for the criminal is obviously so strong because look where it's at. Like, I'm a victim that hasn't got as far as most victims with the legal department. I'm trying to be as vague as possible. Like, once this thing comes to an end, then we'll come back on and we'll talk about it, or you'll see the news, if charges are done or whatever. But we'll talk about it more. But like right now, like we're in a very crucial time period, and I think justice is absolutely close.
Right. I want to talk about Jaguar Wright, and we met you through Jaguar Wright. How much of a how much of a role has she played for you in getting
So
the recognition?
so Jaguar you know, I mean, like I said, randomly I did Tisa Tells, and because Tisa Tells was, you know, reporting on one of these stories, and
Man, this interview is interesting, man. Jonathan Hay goes in on Diddy. Man, Diddy did everybody wrong, and he always be sexually assaulting guys. This is just crazy to me, man. I don't know how Diddy get to pull this shit off, but he did a lot of people wrong, and he just got 50 months. He robbed all of his artists, and he let Biggie Smalls pay for his own funeral. And they said that he got something to do with Tupac getting killed. So this ninja is just a menace, and he's a very powerful man. But when Cassie filed that lawsuit and got her $30 million and that video came out, everyone get the courage to come off Diddy. So everyone got the courage to file their lawsuit, look a money grab, because everyone is looking money out of this situation. Everyone is filing civil suit. They're trying to run Diddy broke. So Diddy is losing a lot of money right now, man. Diddy is not valued a billionaire no more. Diddy is going broke. Diddy had to sell his house. So this shit is just getting crazy right now, man. And he once put up $50 million plus his house to get built. And Cassie wrote a letter to the judge not to let out Diddy because he's dangerous when he's on the street. He's a monster. We can't let out these menace on the street. He had to stay in jail, man, because all of this freaky shit that you've been doing so long, Ciroc was sponsoring all of these freak off parties. All of the celebrities were involved, but Diddy is just the one that got caught because he got cameras in every room and he be blackmailing a lot of celebrities, man. So Diddy know what he was doing, man. He was using all of these sex tapes to control the industry and control all of the law firms, the justice system, but that could have never saved Diddy because Diddy got so much power. He go against that liquor company and then they humbled him. His house got raided, he got indicted, they found a 1,000 bottle of baby oil, 800 lube, 800 dildos, and they say that Diddy got a lot of tapes. So I want to know, where's the pizza boxes? Everyone is adding the pizza boxes. Is more tape is gonna be released soon? Because the only tape that got leaked in this whole situation is Daphne Joy and Diddy and Sly Digger. That is the only tape that got released. So I don't understand. I know that there are more tapes there, and the government is not exposing this shit because a lot of celebrities are involved in this type of shit, man. This is what they do in Hollywood. They take drugs, they fly in prostitution, they live their best life. They get lit every minute, every second. But everything what is going on with Diddy just pissed off the wrong set of people, and he had to go to jail. They was trying to take Bad Boy from Diddy. They were trying to leave him broke. So Diddy got to realize that he can't play with the elites. They control the game. They control the spans. You need to remember that you're a black ninja. You're not a white guy. You need to not forget that shit. So you can't play with these type of people, man. Shit will get crazy and go out of proportion. But it is what it is, man. The Diddler's in jail. Let's see what is gonna happen. Like, share, subscribes. OB Media. Have a best day.
Just finished watching the Diddy documentary. Here are my immediate reflections. If you're more concerned with hating him than stopping this from happening again, keep scrolling. 1. Accountability is strongest in community. Ultimately, the court system didn't hold Diddy accountable. The court system cannot do it. To look at everything that happened that led to such gross harm, even the systems is so much bigger than one person. And courts can't do that. Transformation requires self-accountability. No one's gonna be self-accountable if that means going to jail. And that's why the realest nigga in the whole shit was Kirk Burrow, the co-founder of Bad Boy. And by that I mean the most accountable interview, because he said the first time he helped Diddy do some shady shit, he said, that's when I bought into the cult. Cults are not made up of one person. They cannot function without the consent and complicity of all the people around them. And there's so many reasons why we consent and why we're complicit. Usually it's because we get some kind of benefit, even if it's just the benefit of not having to be uncomfortable to say some real shit. And eventually, when Kirk wouldn't mess with Biggie's paperwork after he died, Diddy fired him because we're weaker as individuals. Had his people come together and held like a, what are they called? Intervention. Like, we each are not going to participate in your life the way you need us to unless you change. Then they would have had a fighting chance of getting, of him even being able to truly see there's a problem and not just that this person has a problem and that he has to do something different. And I think there's something we all can learn from that. Someone called me this morning talking about some drama. I was like, yo, did you say something to the person who did the thing? Because that's the only way these things transform. This culture got us all trying to be comfortable instead of being honest. There are serious consequences for that over the course of years. Celebrity culture thrives on that. Capitalism thrives on that. Because the more money somebody has, the more clout somebody has, the more people are reliant on them and don't say nothing, which is a systemic problem courts can't solve. Those power dynamics breed like narcissism. My hurtful habits from being colonized, traumatized, and just a human, they too would be multiplied if I was in control of billions of dollars. I don't say any of this to hold Diddy himself less accountable. I actually have very little power to hold him accountable because I don't know him. Accountability and care actually go hand in hand. This is what I mean. I worked for Diddy very briefly. I was a contractor. I got hired to write something for him, not music. And just in our one meeting that we had, in my follow-up, I said what I understood to be the real thing that needed to be said. And I got an email saying, Mr. Combs will not be needing your services anymore. Because who the fuck am I? The people who are in the best position to hold him accountable are the people who care about him, who are close to him. I always trip out when I see these documentaries and you got all these people talking about, you know, whoever the monster is. Like, what were you doing, bro? You was right there. Not that I'm saying they're equally responsible, but we are collectively responsible. Courts can't transform people, communities, systems. Only we can do that.